Hey everybody, it's Mike Kamal. Welcome to the Joey Song Podcast. My guest today is the truly delightful Suzie Vlcek. Suzie is a cinematographer, filmographer. I don't know what the title is, but Suzie makes videos and movies and music videos. And she is one of the handful of folks that are behind the scenes here at Joey Song. One of the things in feedback from folks is you wanted to see more of what kind of goes on behind the scenes here besides talking to the artist. And Suzie is one of those folks. She has produced, directed, created Silver Sun Pickups videos since, I think, Lazy Eye? I don't remember. We talk a little bit about it here in the podcast. I think it was even before that. So she's been involved. She did all four from their most current Tenterhooks release. We talk a little bit about her relationship with the glorious Matt Pinfield from MTV, Brian O'Bear in the process of putting together videos. So, interesting conversation. As I said, Suzie is truly delightful. I hope you enjoy the conversation. I mean, she laughs at everything I say, so how can she not be truly delightful? Anyway, stick around for the Joey Song Podcast with Suzie Vlcek. Welcome to the official podcast of Joey Song. You know, at Joey Song, we have one mission: raise as much money as we can so that research into finding treatments and cures for epilepsy can get the funding it needs. We would love your support. If you can subscribe and leave a review of this podcast, it will help more than you could ever know. If you have a couple extra mouse clicks left in you, go to YouTube and our YouTube channel, Joey Song, and subscribe. There. In less than 2 minutes, with a couple of mouse clicks, you will have made it easier for others to find us and help spread the word. Now, if you want to do a bit more, head over to joeysong.org, consider buying a show ticket or some merch, or even making a donation. Thanks. You know, we'll beat this disease, and together we'll have some fun doing it as well. Join us. All right, let's do this. Hey, everybody, we are back. And as I promised you, we're going to do more of the inside baseball here on the Joey Song Podcast. While I get all the flowers and the glory for it, I got to be honest with you guys, there's a ton of people behind the scenes that put a lot of time, effort, and skills that I don't have into doing this. And these are highly trained professionals. And Suzie Vlcek is with me today, and she is one of those folks behind the scenes that has helped us do some of the interviews. We'll talk about that. But before we get into that, and I will welcome Suzie, don't worry, I'll give her a chance to talk. We're going to talk about what she does with her in her day job, which you guys are going to like to hear about. So Suzie, welcome to the Joey Song Podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. You know that I'm a part of the cult of Joey Song.
You are
now.
a part of the cult. You are a part of the cult. I hope those packets of Kool-Aid showed up at your front desk like we did.
Absolutely.
So for you, yeah. So for you folks, this was Suzie's first year as being a part of this. And this is how cool this is. I'm going to tell this. I like telling cool stories. So as you guys well know, Butch Vig is a part of our stuff, as well as Brian O'Bear and Nikki Moninger from Silver Sun Pickups. And I was talking to either Butch or Brian, one of the two, last fall. And they said, hey, we got somebody that you got to bring to Joey Song. And I said, oh, and they said Suzie's name and her partner Annika's name in her business. I said, oh, what do they do? And she goes, well, they just got done shooting all the Silver Sun Pickups videos. And I went, oh, yes, of course, please. So Suzie, talk a little bit about your day job and the kind of stuff that you do as part of that.
I would never call directing music videos a day job, but it's kind of like, like a labor of love that I can't quit. And Silver Sun just always, I have this awesome relationship with them, and it weirdly keeps getting better and better. And it's, I just never say no to them. I have had many day jobs, editing, writing, But the video stuff, as a kid, I'm sure you also grew up with MTV, and I thought that was like a real career path to direct music videos, and worked in different ways in video. And then I just, when I moved to Los Angeles, I was like 26, and I met a band, and I said, "Hey, can I make a video for you?" They were called Early Mart. And that was
I'm
the first,
familiar with Early Mart.
Do you know Early Mart? Yeah,
I do.
They're awesome. They're
Yeah.
So that's actually how I met Silver Sun, Ariana, the bass player from Early Mart and singer. She actually went to London with Brian and Nikki when they were in college, so they were all tight. And so I just like kind of fell into the Silver Lake music world delightfully at the right time.
Yeah.
And I just made friends and said, "Hey, do you guys need videos?" And then eventually, a couple of bands got signed, including Silver Sun, and they had really tiny budgets. And it's weirdly super gratifying at this point, like 25 years later. It's just like
crazy.
Still going, and it's led to you and Butch and and David Michaels, and it's just been really lovely and surprising. So
well, it's funny because so much of Joey's song growth has been through friends bringing in friends, and when you start with a cool bass like somebody like Butch, who is the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet, right? Just a kid from Viroqua, Wisconsin, who happens to be an expert at twiddling knobs. Good people follow, right? Because he brought in Brian and Nikki, and then they begat you, and so on. It's this community that you're now a part of, and you get to know all these people, and it's there are folks that, for you and I, oh my God, that's the Bangles, that's the Go-Go's, that's Goo Goo Dolls, and you find out that they're
Kurt
all
Smith
just
blew
cool.
my mind this year.
Oh yeah, oh my goodness! All right, I gotta do this.
Wild.
So I did not know Kurt before this year. Obviously, I knew of him. I was a DJ back in the '80s, so I played plenty of Tears for Fears. And and Kurt was so sweet and so nice, and his daughter Diva was wonderful.
Oh,
and I was
amazing.
I was following up with him on something. I don't remember what, after the show. And I found I was trying to get what handles he wanted us to use to tag him. And I went to his social media, and it said Manchester United Lover on there, which is a soccer team, which is also my soccer team that I support. He and I are now texting 3 times a week about, I'm texting, Kurt Smith and I are soccer buddies. How cool is that?
It's the coolest. You got to pinch yourself. I know. I mean, I feel the same way about Matt Pinfield. I'm like, now we are messaging each other, and I like really just can't believe it. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but and so now I'll slather some praise on, because you're a good person, and good people begat good people. And Matt, I had not known Matt before this year, and I think I've told this story before on the podcast, so those folks that have been listening, Matt and I, as we were leading up to the concert last year, he'd call with what was supposed to be a quick question, and about an hour and a half later, we were arguing over whether 1966 or 1967 was the greatest year in music. I mean, he is such a savant, but he's also such a sincere dude. Just a sincere dude.
I know. For me, it was like watching him on 120 Minutes and being introduced to everything in the most non-cynical way. He loves everything. He is so excited, his genuine curiosity. He's just the best. And to meet him and know him and see that he is the real deal, and also that he survived some really scary health stuff, and he's still a savant. He's still, just firing on all pistons. And I think he might even be like superhero level. Something extra happened when he was in a coma. I don't know what's going on with his brain, but he's amazing.
Well, and you said a really interesting thing in there. It's sincere too. It's not an act. It's not like, when the lights go on, he becomes Matt Pinfield, VJ. And when they're off, he's Matt Pinfield, hated guy. He's that way all the time. That is who he is.
Yep. And everyone is so excited to see him.
Yep.
You know, and talk to him. It was like the easiest thing in the world for me at Joey's Song to say, hey, will you come sit down with Matt Bigfield? If it was just me grabbing people for interviews, you know, I may have gotten like 5 people, but you know, it was just like getting all those guys and girls to sit down with, you know, Matt, and, you know, most of them know him. And the best though was that he had never met Jane Weedlin. And so it was kind of a funny moment to see these two, to me, like MTV icons that weirdly had missed each other in their, you know, Gen X fever dreams that we were all in. So that was awesome. I loved seeing that happen, you know, in real time. And also just like talking to Gina Shock, and just everybody was so, and Tracy Bonham, like she was practicing and I was like, oh my God, I used to like play this album to death. And yeah, it was just a total dream come true. It's like summer camp for music nerds.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, good people beget good people. So I have a question for you, because now I know that you do a lot of the SSPU stuff. And what's the process of figuring out what you're going to do? I assume you sit down with Brian and Nikki and and Christopher and, you know, and Joe and talk it through, or how, and I realize there's not a one size fits all, but talk through that process, please.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing with Brian is that he has always just been like, do whatever you want. And I know how, you know, unusual that is. And we have this really wonderful shorthand now where he'll say, well, what, you know, I'm like, do you have any ideas? And he'll say, well, you know, I did have this one thought, you know, he was teasing me and saying, you know, I will say an idea just so that you can say, that's great, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to do my idea. And, you know, he's not wrong, but it's only because I know Brian so well. And he's also, Brian is like a total cinephile. And so, you know, I really appreciate his love for filmmaking. He also just trusts me. So he really, really, truly lets me do whatever. And so I've been really lucky in that. And also their music is awesome. So it's very easy for me to have ideas with good music. So yeah, I will just like play it in my car and think about stuff. And then usually I write a little treatment. I pull some visuals. I say, hey, you know, let's see, for like Lazy Eye, I'm like, I want to do this, you know, preteen kind of like angst, bittersweet love story. Let's put 35 preteens in a bar. And, you know, he's like, sounds good. And honestly, it's always been like that with him. He's never pushed back. He, like, one time he's like, have you ever wanted to do a dance video? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And then I made a super weird dance video for Doesn't Matter Why. And it's funny, you know, it's like now it's all part of our history. And like I can look at those videos and sort of remember what was happening in my life. And, you know, I did a video with Nikki for a song of theirs called Circadian Rhythm. And it was the first video I had directed as a mom. And so my almost 2-year-old was on set. And, you know, I have pictures of that. And it's just like, it really is a family affair. And I just, you know, like I'm really lucky that they still make music and they still ask me. And, you know, they've made lots of videos with lots of other people. This last album, they were like, do you want to do all the videos for this album? Which of course I was like, you know, a little bit overwhelmed, but then I was like, yes, please. And so it was just super fun and ambitious. And then I met Annika, who I had not worked with before. And so she really helped me get a great crew.
Okay.
I know. Isn't that amazing? And we just like, you know, for me, it's like, you know, you learn your whole career about people and who brings out the best in you and who you kind of are maybe from the same planet as, like, you know, I just,
absolutely.
At first I was like, wow, Annika's kind of a hard ass. I was like a little bit like, geez. And then I was like, she's protecting me in the best possible way and getting the best for me. And I don't know, like for me, meeting someone like that is life-changing because then I'm just like, I just want to make more and more and more. You feel supported. And it was just, and then like we shot one of the videos in Butch's house. So it just was like, then we met, so then Annika met Butch and they were like, do you want to come to Wisconsin in January?
Which,
we were kind of
if that isn't a great closing line, I don't know what is for somebody that lives in LA.
I mean, we were kind of like, we had just done these videos and, we were like really like drunk off of the fun of, doing these. And so we were like, yeah, that sounds amazing. So it all led to great stuff. And so now, so I feel like now I'm working with Annika and it just makes me want to do more and more and more. And I've got this new sort of confidence because of it, like going to Wisconsin and feeling very, just like I belonged there. It doesn't always feel that way. Sometimes you're like, wow, right? Like sometimes you just have those experiences where you're like, this is too hard. This shouldn't be this hard. It does, something doesn't feel like I don't feel seen or heard or, and it just was like all the pieces.
You'll notice we are very totalitarian at Joey Song. You must do it this way. And if you don't shoot the way we want you to. Yeah. No, that's
right.
I learned, not to turn this into a TED Talk on Mike Gamal's management style, but I learned a long time ago that you bring in people with skills, and if you start to tell them how to do what they're skilled at, you are wasting their time and their talent. And if I was a filmmaker, I'd be a filmmaker, and I'm not. So,
yeah. And I think that's like Brian has a really lovely sort of feeling about making music and then handing it off. Like he doesn't really want to be involved with the visual. Like to me, it's like poetry. It's like the song is poetry and then I make my visual poetry and some people get it and some people don't. And that's what I love about music videos. It's not a movie, it's very like, I just like now I'm watching all these old music videos with my son who's 11 and it's been so fun to watch him watch this stuff and know what I do and just sort of like the freedom in music video to me, like, again, I'm lucky that I have worked with people who have let me kind of go a little rogue and not micromanage me. But it does, you're right. It brings out the best in people when you trust them and, know that they're doing their thing after you've done your thing.
Yeah. Well, I think the brilliant part. I think the thing about music videos in particular is, obviously depending on your artist that you work with, but Silver Sun, as the example in all this, is not a Moon Spoon June kind of band, right? That's not, if you have 10 people listening to one of Brian's songs, you'll get 13 different ideas of what it's about, right?
Absolutely.
And that, I mean, if you were making the video for I Will Always Love You, there's only a couple ways to go on that one, right? But if you're doing Panic Switch or Lazy Eye or, any of these songs, you can go anywhere you want to with it. And that's
totally.
And there's no right or there's no wrong. And if, again, you and I are of a certain age, you're much younger than I am, but we're of a certain age, right? Where, the MTV videos, the performance videos were the last ones you wanted to watch, right? And REM historically was like, no, we don't do performance videos. And that as a filmmaker has to be so rewarding for you, again, to work with somebody like SSPU and be given that leeway to go, what, you want us eating cheese? Let's go for it,
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, that's a real dream. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have been contacted to do videos, and like to me, when I hear there has to be performance, I definitely a little part of me dies inside because I don't love doing that. I have done performance, and I just try to. I don't know. It's funny. We live in this time of like IP and nothing can be original and everything has to be, a derivative of something else.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like, I don't know anybody who likes that. I really feel like the deepest people are looking for original and things that kind of go, wow, I didn't expect that. Like you said, if I did a video for I Will Always Love You, I would be thinking, what is the last thing people expect to see? Like I really don't ever want to do predictable. And even if I did like the last video I did with Nikki, I was like, what if she played every instrument? and the rest of the band.
There you go. There you go.
You know, and so we did it, and then we dressed her in 4 different outfits, and you know, it just was like, and also it was kind of a throwback to 80s, kind of like, let's do like a really kind of like cheesy performance, cheesy, but you know, like that 80s style. And yeah, I don't know, I do feel really satisfied when I get to do a narrative or something that's you know, more of like a, like I said, like a poem that doesn't need to be understood by everyone. And it's, you know, it's funny, it's good for me to be okay with people not getting it. Like sometimes I'm like, Mom, did you see my video? And she's like, I saw it. I didn't get it, but I saw it.
What the hell you're doing? Yep. Exactly.
I'm kind of like, okay. Yeah, like I'm like, well, and then other people are like, wow, like, you know, they really get it. And Brian really got it. And I think that, like, to me, to the person who wrote the song and obviously has his own thoughts about why he wrote it and when he performs it, what he's feeling, to take it in a different direction and have him like it is super gratifying.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny that you say that about the writer of the song knowing where you were going with it. I am not an artist. I'm not a singer. I'm barely passable in public in general. But I will tell you that knowing and being around musicians all my life, there's a lot of musicians that they don't know what their songs are about. And they will tell you that. And they will say that it's years and years later where they finally figure out what it's about. And that is, I mean, talk about a mind, you know what, for me, that's amazing. That's amazing. And that's the beauty of it. And that's, you get back to that MTV video stuff of, you don't want to tell them, well, it's really about grocery shopping or whatever, you know what I mean? That it's whatever it might be.
People attach all kinds of stuff to the videos they've made, like Lazy Eye. They, you know, the young woman that I cast was like this really dynamic, charismatic young woman, and she had a short haircut, and people were like, oh my God, she's so androgynous. Like they thought it was a big statement on like gender, or I don't even know. It was so weird to me, the reaction. And people to this day still will find me and email me and ask me who she is. Like, you know, it's just like, it's also a little creepy. I'm like, I'm not going to tell you who she is, but like people really read into stuff, and it's fine. You know, it's like, I was watching the Paul McCartney documentary last night, and they were playing some song, and I was like, oh my God, that's what that's about. You know, and it just like, I love that too. Like just being like having my own relationship with a song, and, you know, usually it's a time machine too, right? Like you hear a song in the grocery 100%. Store and you're 14 years old again, and you're like, oh my God, I was at the 8th grade dance and I cried. And, you know, it's just like, it's all, it all comes back to you. And videos are like that for me still. Like I remember waiting for like Love is a Battlefield to come on. So I could do the dance with the TV, you know? So yeah, I mean, we all get that out of art, and Brian is really gracious, Nikki, Joe, Chris, like they're all just really lovely and trusting friends. So
groovy. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk a little bit about the stuff that Suzie did at this past Joey song with Matt. We'll tell you a couple of fun stories behind that. So stick around. We'll be right back. You're a natural. We are back, and I'm really happy to say that in between this, Suzie just did a short little performance video of me playing Gordon Lightfoot's Sundown on an acoustic guitar. It went really well. I mean, just me and like a spotlight. It was glorious, just glorious. And I'm predicting big things for that. No. All right.
I'm so glad you were so inspired.
Well, I did. When we talked about how horrible performance videos were, I'm like, well, then that's what we have to do. We have to go right against the grain, right against the grain.
Oh my God.
So for those of you, and we haven't really, as we're recording this, we haven't really pushed anything out from it yet, but Suzie and Annika worked with our pal Matt Pinfield and set up kind of in a really cool location right off of the stage in the loading dock. It had a very kind of industrial feel to it. Which is because we didn't plan it out, and I just told them to do whatever the hell they could do. So it's really on me. It was my creative genius that created that cool set. That's what it was.
It actually worked out better than anything
Yeah.
because everyone
Yeah.
was right there.
Yeah. It actually turned out great. But so the most beloved man in music, Matt Pinfield, set up a couple of road cases and some spotlights and really talked with people. Now, I didn't get a chance to do it other than I did a quick segment with Matt. Suze, talk a little bit about that, because as you kind of alluded to earlier, most of the people are busy doing their stuff, but when you start the phrase, "Hey, Matt wants to talk to you," it gets a little bit easier.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially people like Matt Sorum, and like, not to say I was intimidated, but there were certain people that were harder to approach and like interrupt. Like Matt Sorum and Gina Shock were having this like very deep conversation, and I was like, oh God, like I really, really need him to sit with Matt. And I'm like, how do I interrupt? So yeah, like those moments were, harder. But when you say Matt really wants to, have time with you, people prioritize, and everyone was so excited. And also like, all these people have relationships with him. Like I said, except for Jane Weedland, every single person was like, oh yeah, I remember that. Like he really, truly, all I do is interrupt and say, hey guys, I know you're going to talk forever, but like, we got to do this, and it was like, just keeping them sort of on target with, being able to actually have usable audio, because while yes, it was awesome, we could collect all those people for interviews, it was also not ideal for sound because everyone was rehearsing behind us. So every time they would start talking, it would be like, someone would do a crazy drum crash. It was exactly. So it was sort of funny. And Cody, we brought Cody, our DP, and he had the earbuds in, and I'm like, can you hear it? And he'd kind of make a face like it's as good as it's going to get, and so we were just really being scrappy, and like I just really felt like a kid in a candy store. And like we said before with Matt, he's just also that way. Even though he's been doing this for decades, he is just as excited as he's ever been, and he'll tell you the best stories about, having dinner with David Bowie and picking out his track list, just like he has insane stories. And so I do want to sit there and just listen to him. And then I have to remember, oh wait, I'm directing. I have to like, keep this train on the tracks. And so Annika was amazing with that. And it started, actually, I will give credit to Brian O'Bear, because he really wanted Matt to do like a 120-minute style intro for the Long Gone video. And it was funny because I kind of thought, well, gee, aren't you special? You're going to ask Matt Pinfield to do a silver star? Like, I just thought like, wow, that's really far-fetched, and like, sure, whatever. And so, Brant at Q Prime reached out and he said yes. And I was like, shit, this is going to happen. I really did not expect that to be so easy. So when we shot the Long Gone video, Matt came and we did like a hour-long interview with Silver Sun. And then the next day we shot a video at Butch's house, because that's how we shot these 3 videos, just back to back. And Butch said, how is Matt? How's he doing? And I'm like, he's fucking amazing. This guy is just like,
he is.
He's great, And so he said to me, Butch said, do you think he's, well enough to MC Joey's song? And I was like, hell yes. So that's kind of how that started, so it was like this sort of like chain of events that, like I said, I was like, is this really going to happen? And not only did that happen, things like just kept getting better and better. And so then he came to Wisconsin, and we were like, what can we do? And we had a whole setup in the hotel where everyone was staying, where we're like, oh, the lighting is great and it's quiet and people can sit on this couch and talk to Matt. And then I said to Annika and Cody, I was like, we're not going to see anyone over here. Do you know how hard it's going to be to get these people to leave the venue?
Green room. And
so then we were like, okay, let's go over to the Sylvie. And then we found that like Jack Daniels room, and we were like, oh my God, this is perfect. It's right here. It was like 1 floor up. And I'm like, I still don't think people are going to leave
the
backstage area. Like, it really would have just been like pulling teeth to get people to just go up the stairs and, So then, so that's how that kind of happened. And, David Michaels already had all their lights set up for the, stuff they were shooting. So
with
again,
Charlie. Yeah.
everyone was
Yep.
so helpful. You know, David was helpful. Eric Foster, his DP,
Yep.
super helpful, you know, and so, and, you know, like we had a very small kit with us. And so Cody was, you know, like, hey, can we use this? And they were all just helping each other. It was lovely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that really worked out. And yes, like everybody, you know, he knows everybody, everybody has great stories. And, yeah, I just feel again, like it was magical. And I feel like it's still going because Matt and I still talk. So,
yeah,
you
it
know,
is.
we're probably going to do some stuff.
Yep.
More stuff, Joey songs, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, and I don't mean to turn this into a Matt Pinfield tribute, but what the hell, he deserves it.
That's okay with me.
The thing about that I found in the hours that Matt and I have been on the phone talking, and we've talked about this already, it's sincere, but it's all, so I'll give you the example. He and I were talking about Tears for Fears, right? And and I was saying, yeah, we got Kurt, and of course Matt knew Kurt, but he also said, you know, I bought that 45 from the first record, and I think I still have, you know. And the second question he asked me is, where are the cool record stores in Madison? Because as we talked about,
he went.
That's him, and this, I'm pretty good at knowing nonsense, as most people that know me will tell you. He laps me. You know, he knows the minutia, and he'll tell you who played keyboards on the third REO Speedwagon album, and he'll tell you the name of the you know, whoever it is, engineer on the Beatles' third record, and be
also
right.
Not
you know?
Annoying, but it's also not annoying. Like,
no,
you know what I mean? Like that could be really douchey and insufferable if someone was doing that all the time. And he is a fucking delight. So,
right.
I mean,
well, he just drips sincerity.
Yeah.
You know?
And you really just do feel like it's just, you know, he also listens to you.
Yes.
You know, he wants to know your experience, which is, you know, not always the case with people. I wore my Sinead O'Connor thrift store shirt to one of the video shoots, and he said, oh yeah, I went bowling with her in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I'm like picturing Sinead O'Connor and Matt Pinfield bowling, you know, and I'm like I said, it's just like constantly these stories that you're like, I just want to sit here and listen to you
talk for an hour. Well,
and
you
he
know,
was
the other
like,
thing,
you know, he would text me, he'd be like, I'm going to the record store, and I'm like, I want to spend a day going to record stores with you. So maybe stay tuned, and we will make that happen. Record stores with Matt Pinfield.
And we will pull out all the records from all the Joey song artists, and we'll tie it all together.
That's right.
Here's the thing about Matt that I so appreciate, out of the millions of things I appreciate, is it would be so easy to be in that music business like he is, and to have some sort of, well, I'm too cool for that, or I'm this for that, you know. And we all suffer from it, right? We all suffer from it. Matt doesn't seem to suffer from it. He'll tell you why the Creed record is good, or Nickelback, right? All these bands, that we're supposed to dislike if we're super cool we are. Matt's enthusiasm is for everything. Yeah,
everyone. Yeah, he's the great equalizer, and I absolutely love that he doesn't hate on anything. I mean, it's really like I said this to him when I met him. I said, you know, I felt like you were the last sort of stop on that sort of energy, you know, that wavelength of being excited and curious and loving. And then we went straight into reality TV, where there were judges and, you know, like confessional cams and producers creating villains. And, you know, it just felt like, oh man, like, so yeah, there is something really lovely to, you know, to be around him and remember that. And, you know, and Brian's very much the same way, you know, and he's definitely, I mean, we just went and saw a movie together, and he wanted to rag on it. And I was like, you know, I'm not going to judge other people's art. And he's like, come on, you know, and then we kind of had a little bit of a, but you know, it's like, it kind of like does, you know, you can get into that cycle of like,
you can
being so critical. And I do think that, like, you know, a lot of people are like that, and they don't go out and do anything. And so, you know, I feel like it's really important to be like making creating so that you feel all the time like it's hard to create. And I'm going to be nice to creators because it's a really brave thing to put yourself out there. And I feel like Matt just inherently gets that and respects that. And I'd actually love to know what he hates. I would actually love to ask Matt Pinfield, what do you really hate? That's another podcast. What does Matt hate?
Well, he doesn't like toe fungus, and he's not a big fan of spicy food. Right? That would be about the only things I could think of. That
people talking on cell phones in public.
Yep. He'd be like, but they're connecting with people. It's important that they're talking. And he'd find a reason to like all of that stuff.
Totally. He'd have a spin on it for sure.
So now I'm going to put you on. We did not plan this. I'm going to put you on the spot. Now, you've been to one Joey song, and you've got your creative hat on. I guess I realize you can't see me because we're having technical difficulties, but I'm making like a tinfoil hat sign with my head.
I'm visualizing you. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. What would you like to do next year when I corral you and bring you from sunny, warm Los Angeles to freezing cold Madison? Now that you've seen the chaos, what's an angle you would think about doing?
I think that you have this fun thing where it's like girls against guys. It's always really fun. And I was like, somehow I missed the when the women were rehearsing. I was like, why wasn't I in that room? Like I really felt like left out. Like I was like, I really want to do more like behind the scenes stuff of the sort of what goes into like them sort of birthing this concert because like I can't believe how quickly, and then this is a testament to Butch and all the musicians that you find that can just so quickly come. I mean, also, I've known Brian for like 27 years or something, and I did not know what a quick read he is. Like he was like on stage for hours, just like playing every song. And
I was going to tell that
so that
story.
really fascinates me, right? I didn't know that. And and so I did also, I haven't edited it yet, but I did a little thing on all the amazing drummers that you had this year. Because it was really like insane. So I did little interviews and like, so I have to edit that. But I was really loving how Kurt brought his daughter and you had your son there. And I just, and obviously wanting to know more about Joey too. Like you told me this wonderful thing about how he was nonverbal, but he really responded to music. And that was just like really moving to me because you've sort of, you've dedicated so much of your life to keeping Joey alive. And I just think it's really so
it's very,
profound.
very kind of
and
you.
It's, and I just, I have a son and I feel like so much of what I do now is inspired by him. He's really my muse, he's really making me a better creator. And you think like, remember the Breeders lyric, saw it on the wall, motherhood means mental freeze. I thought when I have a kid and all my creativity is going to go away or my, like there's just something about people kind of scare you about that. And I feel kind of the opposite. I feel very, inspired by being a mom. And so, obviously Joey's story and, you have two other kids, like you really get it. And I really appreciate that. And I really connect with people who take it that seriously. And,
well, thank you.
You put so much of your life into making other people, you don't want this to happen to other people. And you're
that's it.
Doing a lot to make sure that doesn't happen, and I really just think it's amazing.
And I would be lying if I didn't say it's super fun to do too. So
of course.
there's nothing.
I think Joey probably would want you to be having fun.
Yeah,
well, that's another part of it, right?
Yeah, we could do. You're putting me on the therapy couch here.
Sorry.
I remember. No.
I do that sometimes.
I struggled with that. I'll tell a quick side story because what the heck. One of the first people that were in kind of my Mount Rushmore of artists that I connected with was Mike Mills from REM. Huge REM guy. I mean, they are. You can see behind. You can't see behind me. I've got little REM figures from The Simpsons. Yeah, behind me.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. Yeah.
And I struggled after I got to. He and I went to a Brewers game together. And I gave it's a long story why we spent an afternoon together. And I really struggled after it because it's like, and that was part of recruiting for Joey Song, and it had a whole lineage to it. And it's kind of like, man, I wouldn't be hanging out with one of my idols if it wasn't for this terrible thing
Mm,
that happened to my son. But then
sure.
I, but then,
Yeah.
but you know, so it's a process, and there's no manual for grieving, and there's no manual for recovery, and there's no manual for any of that stuff.
Yeah,
But yes,
for
it's
sure.
it certainly has been fun and great. And once I learned that it was okay for me to say, "Oh yeah, you know, I was talking to
To
Vicky
have fun.
Peterson the other
Yeah,
day, and you know, and
I know.
people are coming to me for contact information for these people, which I guard with my life." So yes, it's
Yes.
super satisfying, but it's great that it can be for a good reason and for a good cause and for all
Yeah.
that stuff as well. So it's great. One last thing, Susie, I wanted to share because I know this has turned into the Brian and Matt show, but you are 100% right about Brian. I had not known him well. I had met him at Butch's house
Mm,
before he ever played a Joey song. And that first year he
yeah.
came, once he hit the stage, he didn't leave. Even if he was just
Yeah.
even if he was just playing fourth guitar chords and
Yeah.
loving it. I mean, you could just
Yeah.
see he's loving it. He is so
Yeah.
into it.
I'd
And
never
again,
seen that side of him. I had no idea. And it's funny because my friend Ariana from Early Mart, who I was telling you is how I kind of know
mm-hmm,
them, you know, they they dated when they were young children. And
yep.
she used to be like, you know, I taught him guitar. And Ariana, and I mean, you know, I'm sure they have different versions of the story as, you know,
Yep.
that goes. But and she's an amazing musician as well. And so it's kind of funny because, you know, I watched Silversun play in their living room when they had a
Right.
different drummer and a different guitar player. And, you know, they weren't so great in the beginning. And everyone was like, oh,
Right.
that's cute. And then they start getting better and better and better,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like,
Right.
holy shit, you know, and
Right.
you know, not to say that I didn't realize then, because, you know, the first video I ever did for them, Kissing Families, like it was a great song, you know, like
Right.
way
Right.
back then. They've always been
Right.
amazing. And Brian
Right.
has always been sort of a savant with music. Like, I think you
Yep.
used that word, right? Am I allowed to?
Yeah.
I mean,
Used it correctly.
I,
Yes.
he really truly blew my mind in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And he
He's that
doesn't,
way.
you
He's
know,
that way every year. He is that way every year.
it's so cool.
Yeah,
And he's
miraculous.
really a
And
leader too, you know, like it feels like everyone really
yep.
responds well to it. If there's no ego, I don't feel any
No,
kind of ego with any of those people.
none of them.
And
There's not one
it
of them.
really just
No,
it just brings everybody, you know. And of course now I'm just like fantasizing about bringing my family, and like my husband's a musician and my kid's a musician. I'm
yeah.
like, we all want to be a part, you know. I'm just like, I just, it's
Bring
like
them.
I said, I'm totally indoctrinated. So you know, and like you said, there's really no way of knowing until you're there, because you were like, just
Right.
come and see what it's like, you
Yeah.
know. And Annika and I were like, if we come, we are doing something, you know. So it was just
Yeah.
like we
Yeah.
really wanted to like give you something to use to
Yeah.
keep this, you know, going.
Well, it is,
But
that
yeah,
is one of the
it's so
challenges.
special.
Well, thank you. That one of the challenges is how do you, and you can't, and that's why we've just described to people what it is, because
Yeah,
and again, it's not like this was some master plan drafted 15 years ago. It's been very organic, but you can't explain
yeah.
because, you know, people go, oh, so you have all these bands. Well, no, we really don't have all the bands because they're really not playing their
Mm-mm.
songs, but, you know, blah, 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 you know, kind of all together.
So
It's
great.
just, it's really
Yeah.
glorious. All right, Susie, it's been great talking to you.
Thank
Again, you're very
you. Thank you
fortunate
so
that your
much.
camera was not working, so you didn't have to see this. Um, but we will have you back. I try to have everybody on at least twice a year. As we get closer, I'll have you back
Okay.
on, and we'll talk a
Right.
little bit about what you're planning to do, because I know,
What we've got planned.
yeah, and I know
Love it.
people do enjoy hearing what goes on behind this and the work that goes in and all the effort that folks like
Yeah.
you put in it. So we
Yeah,
will do
we'll
that.
definitely, we'll be cooking up great stuff for next year. And yeah, I
That
look forward to
sounds.
it. Like I said, I want to bring my whole family.
Yep. Yeah. There's,
Uh,
as you can see, there's plenty of room, and there's always plenty of food in the green room. So we can
yeah, exactly.
we can always make that work. So, Suzie Vlcek, thank you so much for being with us today, everybody. This is the Joey
Thank
Song
you.
Podcast, As always, if you have some time, please like and subscribe. I know you hear this on all the pods, but it really makes a difference. Like and subscribe and follow us on all the socials at Joey Song. It helps other people find us. Don't bother learning about the algorithms. Just do it. It's important, and it really helps us grow what we're doing. So again, Suzie, thanks so much.
Thank you.
And we're clear. Ah! Hey, thanks for sticking around all the way to the end of the podcast. A quick reminder, if you can give us a follow or subscribe on your favorite podcast provider and write a short review, it will really help us out. If you can head over to YouTube and subscribe to our channel over there, that's another big help. These simple acts make it easier for others to find us. And of course, head over to joeysong.org to join our community and stay up to date on all the news. Thanks, and we'll talk again real soon.
Learn more about Joey Song by visiting joeysong.org. The theme music was composed by Sam Gamal, and Joey Song is a federally registered 501c3 charity. Thanks for listening.